Two So her grade pre-K.
Should be a couple of seats. That was nice of you.
Dan, you reserved seats for us?
You're important. VIP. No, that's what you can. You should feel also. Oh, yeah.
Hey, why don't you go back up? Well, there was no way to get the kids so Judy said, thank goodness.
They might be getting away. Not yet, no, not yet.
And she tested all
So just tell me, I'll get my big head out of the way.
I'm driving my dad's old truck right here. Hi guys. It's good to see you.
I have to see here for you. This is yours.
Oh, there's a signed one?
Yeah. I just put my water here. Oh. Thank you for the mint.
Okay, thank you.
We're not 25. They got to be 25.
Once a month,
Okay. They're going to try to get everybody out of the doorways. We have chairs set up here. They're going to try to set up some more chairs in the back and over here because we can't have people standing in the doorway. So if you can come up and sit down, they're going to get some more chairs out so everybody can sit down comfortably. And then as soon as everybody's ready, we will get started.
There's lots of chairs up here.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
But I have to trunk the tree. It's $1 million to
This one sounds like a brother. Yeah. This one came from the news is Emoze.
Okay, there's some more chairs up here at the front. If you'd like to come sit down up here. For those who want to come sit down. There's several more up here. There's a couple more there. I think we have a pretty full house. Okay, well, welcome. My name is Tanya Caldwell. I'm on the Wilton Tribal Council. We are very excited to be here today to present to the City of Elk Grove a project that we are interested in doing here in this city. As we do at all tribal events, we're going to start out with an opening prayer. Mary Tarango is one of our honored elders who has dedicated many years of her life helping us get this tribe restored. And our restoration was in 2009, and she's going to open our event tonight with an opening prayer. And yes, can we all stand, please?
Thank you, Nani. Majukshituka, Kuji Hetea Patmako, Kananga Yatsit Mary. Hello, how are all of you? And it's good to see all of you here. And as I said, my name is Mary Tarango. I'm a proud tribal member, tribal elder of the Wilton Rancheria. And it is an honor to be here, as I've been asked to open up this meeting gathering with a prayer as in our tradition. So we ask Creator for blessings to conduct ourselves in a good way. So with that, Creator, Grandfather, Lord, however you call upon him today, first and foremost, we thank you for allowing us to rise. We thank you for our families, our elders, our young ones, our in-betweeners. We thank you for the safe travels for those who made it here tonight and for a safe return to their homes and to their families. We thank you for those responsible for bringing this together, this meeting gathering, in hopes of bringing understanding and support of this project in our community, both tribal and non-tribal. Creator, in this meeting gathering, we ask you to give us the ability to be respectful and to be mindful of one another's differences. Help us to listen, not only with our ears, but with our mind and with our hearts. Creator, help us to find neutral ground that will ultimately benefit all. And lastly, Creator, we ask that you be patient with us and give us the patience for one another. Give us the strength, wisdom, the humility, the desire to move forward as a strong and prosperous community. Thank you, Kumutuk. Thank you, and blessings to all. Aho.
Oh. Thank you, Mary. Okay, so tonight I'd like to introduce our tribal council to begin with. We have Dave Andrews. Please stand, Dave. He grew up in Elk Grove. We have Annette Williams. We have Jesus Tarango. Joseph Rangel. And Liz Singh. And then that is one branch of our government. And the other branch would be our chairman, which is Raymond Hitchcock. Yeah. And our vice chairman, Cameron Hodson. So tonight we want to bring this to you and in hopes that we will present to you something that will be very beneficial not only to our tribal people, but also to this community in many, many ways. In saying that, we're going to have the mayor, Gary Davis, come up and say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? I have just a couple points I'd like to make this evening, and I think the first one is a point we can all agree on, and that's that we clearly need a bigger facility at Elk Grove. And I think, in addition to that, this is certainly a community that appreciates dialogue, and that's what we're here to have tonight. So I know for me, I'm looking forward to having that dialogue. My role here tonight, I think, mainly is to listen. You're going to engage directly with the tribe, and as the mayor of the city, I'm looking forward to listening to that dialogue. There are others here from the city as well that are here to listen, and I know Frank Maida, we've got a planning commissioner that's here. We've got Tony Perez. He's an Elk Grove school board member. We have 2 representatives, one from Assemblyman Cooper's office, Chanel, and Karen from Senator Pan. I think other councilmen and maybe, okay, great. Are there other city councilmen or planning commissioners here that I've missed? Or other elected officials? Kevin Spees in the back, planning commissioner. So we're here to listen to the dialogue, and we're looking forward to it. I guess the one thing I would ask you is this, and look, I've been serving you as a city council member or mayor for a total of 10 years. And in those 10 years, I've had a chance to engage you all in a lot of issues. Some easy, some complicated. Over the course of that time, what I really have valued is our ability to have the dialogue. Have the dialogue, hear all sides, and work towards solutions. So I'm certainly looking forward to hearing that. This is a little bit more of a complicated situation because the tribe here has sovereignty, and should they get land in trust, and I'm sure they'll get into details here, then we're going to be neighboring another, a sovereign nation within the midst of our community, and that's a different sort of a dialogue than, say, the mall developer coming along and saying we want to build a mall, right? It's a different dialogue, it's a different process, and I think it requires a different approach. Nonetheless, it's important that we listen and work together through it. I do want to say that I think it says a lot about the tribe that they're willing to and wanted to have this meeting here tonight. There was a community meeting in Galt when Galt was the prospective site, and I think that legally that probably satisfied the requirement. They could have been done there because Elk Grove was always listed as an alternative. And the fact that they wanted to be here tonight and engage in the dialogue, I think says a lot certainly about their integrity and approach to the process. For me, I'm looking at a lot of things. Obviously, one, from my perspective, I'm curious to know the views of our residents, and I think they'll be mixed based upon what I've heard so far. I'm excited to learn about the economic impact of our community. I'm anxious to understand what, if any, criminal impact there is on the community. I'm wondering, the pros and cons, just like you all. So I'm looking forward to that dialogue. One thing I'll tell you, I just returned from a road. I've been out of town for 3 weeks, and I was on a road trip on the East Coast and through the South, and really just really studying intently the origins of our country and the battles that we've faced over time, the civil rights movement. And I can tell you that being there on the East Coast and understanding what happened in those port cities and who controlled and things that happened, and just based upon my long-standing history of having a relationship with not just this tribe but other tribes, that's an important part of our history. And the fact that they have sovereignty is something that at least I deeply respect, and I think it's something that I hope we're able to do. I will say that the tribe is from here. I mean, many of them are Elk Grove residents already. They're certainly from here originally, and a lot of the members of the tribe. The tribal office is already in Elk Grove. I don't know if you all knew that, but it's already physically in Elk Grove. And so, I think, again, this is a community that I think what you'll hear from the chairman and others that they care about and they want to have this dialogue. So, again, I encourage all of us to have open hearts, open minds, and listen to the dialogue. That's what I'll be doing. But I will say, I've had a chance over the last couple of years to get to know Chairman Hitchcock, and he's somebody that in the period of time that I've gotten to know him, I've known to be a very respectful, upright, honest person. And again, the fact that we're here today is because he wanted us all to have this dialogue. So let's have it. So I'm going to introduce Chairman Hitchcock. If you could all please join me in a round of applause for the chairman.
Mayor Davison, thank you very much. He's been a strong supporter of the tribe and tribal sovereignty, and that's important to understand. I think we're going to start off with a tribal video that was done. And Robbie?
For Sacramento Valley was the epicenter of the gold rush and the epicenter of the decimation of the native population in this fertile valley, leaving the early 1900s with a lot of landless natives in the area.
In the past years, I've gained a great respect for the Native American people and what we've gone through in our lives and our history.
In California, the Rancheria Act went into effect in 1964. It actually terminated 41 tribes, including Wilton Rancheria, which took away our right to be Native American.
I felt that the government wrongfully terminated us. We were promised, health and education. We were promised housing, a better life if we terminated, but that didn't happen.
When I asked, my mom and him, what did that mean? Well, you're given a piece of paper that says you're no longer Indian, have fun, here's your money, go.
In the late 40s and 50s, it wasn't good to be an Indian. We were taught to be anything but Indian because it was not a good thing to be.
We always kept to ourselves over here in the reservation. We didn't have any outside friends that would come in from school or anything like that. We were kind of like an outcast, you might say.
It seems like our elders, they didn't talk very much about, where they came from or what was going on.
Our culture had effectively been lost. We needed to assimilate into society.
Us as a people in that historical trauma, whether people believe it or not, it's real. It's there. And it affects me, it affects my kids, my mom, my dad, it affects everybody.
My personal background is growing up in poverty, having a single-parent family on a fixed income, living on the reservation where there's no resources immediately available.
A lot of our youth, there's that disconnection from the elders, because of the world that we live in today.
There's a lot of really terrible statistics that go along with being a Native youth. Highest dropout rate, lowest graduation rate, highest suicide rate, and just a lot more.
And so what we see now in our community, and what I saw in terms of our needs, is a lot of healing.
With our tribe being newly restored in 2009, I think that we came a long ways, and that we're able to get some programs going.
I went into medicine because I wanted to address the needs that I knew our members, and as myself growing up, wouldn't have. And that is access to care is a really big issue.
So whether it be emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, physical wellness, anything to make us better people, that's what we try to do here.
I love my job. I'm an elder as well. So I know in detail exactly what an elder needs. They need health care, they need someone just to go and talk to. They need someone to love them, to make sure that they're being taken care of.
Through the Department of Education, our goal is to make sure that students are doing well in preschool through 12th grade, that they graduate from high school, and that they go on to something that will improve their future. I enjoy working with them because I get to see them grow, I get to see changes, I get to see progress in many different ways.
Big chunk of my role is case management for the families that are involved with dependency cases, or CPS. Helping them lead more healthy lives is the ultimate goal. And we can give them these facts, these knowledge, but out there in the field with them is really making them have that initiative to want to change and the motivation.
I really enjoy being that voice for the tribe, and being able to actually get out there and comment on projects, whether it's protecting resources or burial grounds and things like that in the area, and reroute their project if we're able to do that.
We are entirely reliant on federal grants, and so the monies that we get are going away. So as a community, it's no shock that we need other resources out there, other economic opportunities.
The casino is like a vehicle for us. It will help us to help our people. It'll help us to educate and to give support and strength to our families.
We can possibly have a health clinic that would not only affect us, but it help our community.
I want to make sure that the elders are very well supported and whatever their needs are,
A huge project that funding would help with is a tribal home for our dependency children, and then also for parent education.
We provide services to our members for rental assistance and things of that nature because we have a serious housing issue with
education has to be a priority because we need our kids to finish school, we need them to do well in school, we need them to go on to higher education.
Do what they would like to do. You know, if you got a dream, follow your dream.
We're going to have scholarships for the kids for college.
My brother is someone who I look up to, first person in our family to go to college. And, you know, I'm proud to be following in his footsteps and going to Stanford this fall. And then in December, I got a call from the White House notifying me that I had been handpicked by President Obama to serve on the National Advisory Council on Indian Education.
And it will also help us to revitalize our culture. That we get the land in the trust and we can build our roundhouses. We can teach our children the songs and dances.
Bringing back the culture and language and implementing it in a very educational way. It's like a miracle to witness how it works.
It's pretty inspiring. And to see how far the tribe has come since we were recognized. All the hard work that our tribal members have put in. You know, just, it makes me feel proud to be from the Wilton Rancheria.
And now we have to move forward past survival and into like thriving. And we can do that with opportunity, with sovereignty, with development, with the ability to create things for themselves as a tribe, as a sovereign nation.
Being strong and emotionally, physically, mentally, all of those things that are a full circle wellness is what my hope for the future for the tribe would be.
And this current economic development project that we're working with, it's a community project. It's going to bring the community together. It's not only going to provide jobs for our members, it's going to provide jobs for members in our community and around surrounding areas. It's going to bring construction jobs to our community as well.
We will strive to help in every way that we can to be a better community for all of us to live in, to be more open-minded, be more successful in working with each other, treating each other with respect as human beings.
It was interesting doing the video. It really kind of touched on the history of our tribe and what we're currently doing right now. And that's part of what today is about, is for you to understand the Miwok history before Elk Grove was a city, before California was a state, how Wilton Rancheria was established, why we were terminated, how we got restored with the help of our elders, with the leadership of Mary Tarango and Muriel Sangmaster. We have a need for economic development to help our members. So I'm going to go through all of that, through past history, present history, and our economic development. And when we're done with all that, we'll show some renderings of the facility. And then if there's questions and comment cards that are out there, if you have some or if you need one, raise your hand and so people can find you and give them to you. And then we'll take questions at the end, basically, and hopefully be able to answer people's questions and concerns. So let's see if this PowerPoint is working here. So the history of Wilton Rancheria. Wilton Rancheria are descendants of Plains, Bay, and Sierra Miwok. Now, the Miwok territory spans as far south as Yosemite Valley, all the way north to the American River and the American River drainage. To our east, to the western slopes of the Sierra, to the base of the Desolation Wilderness. And to the west, bordered by the San Joaquin River just to our south, and the Sacramento River just to our west. Now, the Bay Miwok is over by Mount Diablo area, out the Delta area. Coastal Miwok is out on the northern side of the Golden Gate, on your Sausalito, your Mount Tamalpais, Point Reyes, Bodega Bay, places of that nature, of the normal names you know. Fast forward through hundreds of years of being in this fertile valley in California. I'm going to go to basically the mid-1800s. So in 1848, January 24th, that's my birthday, and I remember this from California history book, John Marshall discovered gold at Sutter's Mill up in Coloma. That effectively started the California gold rush. It was a mass exodus from the East Coast to California to stake your claim on some fertile land in the Sacramento Valley that we live in right now, and maybe to strike it rich. At that time, there was probably about 200,000 Native Americans living in California, and several thousand right here in Sacramento Valley itself. During that period of time, the natives, we looked at the land like air. We moved with the seasons, go up and collect the acorns from the black oak for sustenance, come back down to the river streams to fish for when the salmon runs or the steelhead were running up the rivers and streams. But as settlers came and blocked off specific plots of land to farm, it pushed the native tribes out to the hills, basically. During that period of time, there were 18 treaties signed throughout California. One more specifically is right here just to the east of us, called Treaty J. It was signed at the forks of the Cosumnes River to our east about 30 miles on the South Fork and the Middle Fork, which would effectively put in several hundred miles of trust land or reservation for the Native American tribes at that period of time. None of those treaties were ever ratified by Congress. You fast forward about 40 years in the late 1800s, they realized that they made a mistake by not ratifying these treaties and making reservations for the Native American population. The population actually by the late 1800s was decimated from about 200,000 down to about 25,000 in California. The Congress knew that they had an issue, so what they wanted to do was make what's called rancherias. Rancheria is another name for a reservation, except it's a lot smaller. You're talking acres instead of square miles. So in 1928, the United States acquired 38 acres of land in the little town of Wilton, California. And if anybody know where that is, you head out Grant Line Road, Wilton Road, in the corner of Wilton and Green Road, right where that little Wilton store is Rancheria Road. That is where the 38 acres of the Wilton Rancheria was established in 1928. In 1935, the Wilton Rancheria, they established a constitution for the Miwok Indian community of Wilton Rancheria. My grandfather was the very first elected chairman of the tribe, Charlie McKean Jr. Actually, next week in 1936, which would mark 80 years since the first chairman of Wilton Rancheria. My mother was born on the reservation. She lived there until she was 20 and then moved on. In 1958, Congress had a great idea again. It's called the California Rancheria Act. What they effectively did was terminate 41 tribes in California. Now, what they planned on doing with the Rancheria Act was they were going to fix the water systems. They were going to fix the sanitation systems. They were going to make the roads up to Sacramento County standards. They were going to provide educational and vocational grants and scholarships to the kids and the adults alike. And then they were going to apportion the lands, which were called distributees, the families that were living on the Rancheria. Each would get their own parcel of land as the 38 acres was divvied out for the families. Federal government did none of that. But they did do one thing. They gave tax bills to every single family out there if they wanted to keep their property for the past several years that it was as a rancheria. So a few of the families actually lost their properties at that period of time. So in the mid-70s, again, federal government realized that they made another mistake. So they did the Indian Self-Determination Act. Now what the Self-Determination Act essentially did was they felt like, we should treat Indians right and give them a better opportunity. Now there was a landmark case, a lawsuit against the federal government called the Tilly-Harwick case in 1979 that was started. And it was actually held right here in Sacramento County Court. Now 35 of the tribes they felt that we were illegally terminated in 1958 and it went into effect in 64. So they felt like they had an opportunity to overturn what the federal government did wrong because they didn't live up to their trust responsibilities. They essentially said, we were going to do X, Y, and Z, and did none of those things. So in 1983, the case actually restored some of the tribes. Wilton Rancheria went to that hearing, and we were told that we couldn't be on the case. From that day forward, started our elders' fight to get recognition, and it's over 25 years of fight and struggle. We had an opportunity in the mid-90s and early 2000s to get recognized on some legislature, but for political reasons, we weren't left off of that bill. Finally, June 8, 2009 was a joyous day for me as a young person watching the strife of my elders fighting to get recognized and having them, be successful, and our tribe is restored again. I can actually call myself Native American for the first time in my life because our tribe was, terminated back in the early 50s. We were given a mandatory land in a trust, which would have established a reservation out in Wilton. But the County of Sacramento and the City of Elk Grove, they said pump the brakes on that. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But as we move forward, we worked on a constitution. So in 2011, we established our modern constitution, 4 branches of government, Office of the Chairperson, which is myself and Vice Chairman Hodson. We appropriate funds. We propose a budget like an executive branch. We oversee the office and departments and grants and things of that nature. Our tribal council is a 7-member tribal council. They're like the legislature. They approve the expenditures. They make the laws. They kind of oversee the activities of the tribe. We also have a tribal court portion that we're working on. And our 4th branch of government is our general council, which is all of our adult membership. So in 2012, we had our very first elections. And 2016, we had a second election. We served 4-year terms, similar to some other branches of government, staggered terms. And as Tanya mentioned earlier, these are our elected officials that are currently serving our tribe. We have 7 departments: Department of Education, Department of Health, Department of Housing, Department of Elder Resources, Department of Environmental Resources, of Cultural Resources. We have a fiscal office, we have an enrollment office, we have a Department of Indian Child Welfare. We have over 20 members that are on our staff and team helping our tribal members with various programs. And for right now, I'd like my tribal staff to please stand up so I can recognize you as all the hard work you do for our tribal members. I got a tribal youth in here, too. He was in the video. He's the youngest appointment ever by a president of the United States, and that's Mr. Dakota Kicking Bear Brown, who's on the Native American Indian Education Council. This young man has done a lot. I look up to you a lot, and if I did what you did at 16, what you did is great. So. We run off of federal grants. Federal grants are funded by taxpayer money. We'd like to get away from that. We have over 700 members in our tribe. We have over 62% of our tribal members live in South Sacramento. 40% are under the age of 18 and getting ready to hopefully go on to college and get education and get a good job. 60% of our tribal youth are in the Elk Grove Unified School District. So this is our home. We're from here. We're residents just like you. We have long-term effects of termination, whether it's poverty, health, or social problems. 62% unemployment in our tribe. It's a pretty high number based off of 6% of the United States average. The median income is around $20,000. 38% of our tribal members are without health care. 14% have only graduated college of our adult membership. 72% have only graduated high school. Now, these are things that we're working on right now currently to try to change those adverse effects and try to make a positive difference for our kids, our youth, our future, and our adult membership alike. We're given this opportunity to put land into trust. What is land into trust? The federal government will take land into trust on behalf of a tribe for various aspects, whether it's economic development, housing, agriculture, and we had a mandatory land into trust